The CEO had crafted one of the nation's most swiftly expanding financial institutions through unwavering discipline, sharp intellect, and bold decisions. Her schedule was meticulously mapped out months ahead of time. That morning, she paused at First Capital Bank for what should have been a brief meeting before catching a flight to seal a billion-dollar deal. She anticipated paperwork, handshakes, and a swift exit. Instead, she stepped into a moment that would forever alter her understanding of people. The lobby buzzed with activity yet remained calm. Business owners debated loans near the reception desk. Elderly patrons waited patiently. Employees greeted familiar faces with warm smiles. Near the back, a man drew little attention. His worn brown coat bore oil stains, his boots caked with dust, and his hands bore the marks of labor. Beside him sat a young girl, perhaps 7, sketching quietly in a notebook, clutching a small teddy bear. The CEO cast a fleeting glance their way, then looked away. They seemed an ordinary father and daughter waiting for their turn, yet something about the man lingered. Though appearing weary, his posture remained upright. Periodically, his gaze swept the room, not with anxiety but with deliberate awareness. He observed each entrance, every security camera, the emergency exits, and the reflections in the polished marble floor before smiling at his daughter. The CEO wondered why a man of his appearance carried such alertness. Before she could ponder further, the bank doors burst open. 4 masked assailants in black tactical gear stormed in, rifles slung over their shoulders. A gunshot cracked toward the ceiling, shattering glass and sending a wave of panic through the room. People screamed, some diving for cover, others freezing in terror. One robber kicked the door shut while another pointed his rifle across the room. Phones, wallets, everyone on the ground. The CEO crouched beside a marble pillar, her heart racing despite her outward calm. Around her, voices trembled with fear. Only one person remained composed, the father. He placed a steady hand on his daughter's shoulder, murmuring, "Remember what we practiced." The girl nodded without hesitation, sliding beneath a desk with her teddy bear clutched tightly, her composure a stark contrast to the surrounding chaos. The CEO watched, nodding how children typically panicked in emergencies. This one trusted her father completely. One robber saw the movement and aimed his rifle directly at the father. "You stay where you are." The father lifted both hands slowly. "We're staying calm," he replied, his voice unwavering. The robber hesitated, then turned to control the others. The CEO observed him closely. His breathing never faltered. His eyes continued scanning, counting the assailants, measuring distances, noting their movements. This was no ordinary laborer. This was someone trained to remain calm amid chaos. Meanwhile, the criminals forced employees to empty cash drawers into bags and ordered the manager to unlock secure offices. The leader checked his watch. "We've got 5 minutes, move." Outside, distant police sirens wavered. Inside, tension coiled tighter with each passing second. Then an elderly man beside the father gasped, clutching his chest. "My inhaler," he whispered desperately. The robber guarding the hostages aimed his rifle. "I said nobody moves." The father met his gaze. "If he can't breathe, he'll die." "So what?" the robber countered. "If he dies, this becomes a murder case, not a robbery." The assailant hesitated, then growled, 30 seconds. The father moved slowly, retrieved the inhaler from the old man's coat and helped him breathe deeply before returning it. "No tricks," the robber warned. "I'm helping you keep everyone calm," the father replied, his voice steady. The CEO couldn't stop studying him. His actions were precise, his emotions controlled, his choices deliberate. Suddenly, a customer bolted toward the exit. A warning shot rang out and the man slipped across the floor. 2 robbers gave chase, leaving one behind. The father saw the shift instantly. His eyes flicked to his daughter beneath the desk, who gave a subtle nod. The CEO felt her pulse quicken. She didn't know this man's true identity, but every instinct screamed that the next moments would reveal a truth none could have anticipated. The instant the robber looked away, the father moved. Not with flair, not with recklessness, but with calculated precision. He seized the assailant's wrist, twisted the rifle skyward, and drove his shoulder into the man's chest. The weapon clattered to the floor. "Get down," he shouted, pulling two frightened customers behind the thick marble counter as another fired. Bullets struck pillars instead of people. Using the counter for cover, the father slid across the floor, disarmed the second attacker, and drove a chair into his knees. The criminal crashed down, giving others time to flee. The remaining robbers realized their control had slipped. "Take the hostages," one yelled. But panic now gripped the criminals, not the innocent. The father seized the rifle, ejected the magazine in one fluid motion, and cast both pieces away. "You've already lost," he said calmly. "Don't make this worse." Sirens screamed outside. Red and blue lights flooded the entrance as officers swarmed in. Within moments, the assailants surrendered. Silence settled over the bank. Customers stood, trembling, trying to process what they'd witnessed. The CEO approached the father, who knelt beside his daughter, checking if she was frightened. She wrapped her arms around his neck. "I knew you'd keep everyone safe," she whispered. He smiled warmly. "I promised, did I?" The CEO stared at him, admiration etched in her expression. "How did you stay so calm?" "Years ago I served with an elite special operations unit," he said. "After my wife passed, I left that life behind. My daughter doesn't need a hero, she needs a father." The CEO nodded, deeply moved. "Today," she said, "you were both." A week later, the bank held a ceremony honoring the brave patrons and officers. The loudest applause, however, belonged to the quiet father. Reporters asked why he'd risked everything for strangers. He smiled at his daughter. "My little girl was watching. Children don't learn courage from our words, they learn it from our choices." The crowd fell silent, then erupted in cheers. That day, the CEO understood true leadership isn't measured by wealth or titles, but by the moments when fear tests character. The greatest heroes are often ordinary people who quietly choose to protect others, expecting nothing in return. The father walked away with no reward except his daughter's proud smile, and to him, that was worth more than all the money in the bank.